Namaste Satnam, welcome to I Am Woke. I am your host, Emelina. In today's video, I'm gonna jump into all of the types of soulmate and cosmic relationships, of galactic soul contracts. If you're new to my world, hello and welcome. My name is Emelina. I'm a cosmic modern shaman, a high-performance life, business, and personal branding coach, a psychic medium. And what you can expect to find on this channel are videos all around personal and spiritual development, ascension, and energy updates channeled from the Akashic records and source consciousness on the new moons and full moons. I'm here to help you step into your next level self using spiritual mentorship and ascension as your tool to expand your consciousness. If that sounds amazing to you, then go ahead and hit that subscribe button, tap the bell for notifications, tap that like button below. PS, it's a transaction that helps me connect into the collective energy that you guys have and your needs so that I can produce videos for you. And I'd love to hear in the comments below what you guys think of the idea of soulmates, which we're gonna be jumping into all the different sorts of soul contracts in this video. Now, if you're on this ascension journey and you're looking to expand your consciousness, I think you're gonna love my free guided shamanic healing meditation where I help you connect deeply to your own source connection, your kundalini energy, your creative energy, your chi, your life force, to build up your energy, raise your vibrational frequency, release anything that no longer aligns, feel comfortable, confident, secure, and protected. I'll leave a link in the description below where you can get a hold of that meditation for free. Okay, so let's jump right in. So what are the sorts or types of human relationships that come from some level of like cosmic, soul, or galactic origin? And of course, at the romantic relationship level, you can have relationships with any of these. You can have human relationships, you can have soulmate relationships, you can have twin flame relationships, you can have karmic relationships, you can have dharmic relationships, and anything and everything in between. Ultimately, there are three types of soul bonds. There are twin flames, which are typically described as the other half of your soul, where there's a masculine and feminine component that come together in the union of a single soul. Then there are soulmates, soul family that we share soul bonds with. And then there's like extended soul family or rainbow family. And then of course, there are human relationships where there isn't a common shared soul family bond. There's a shared day-to-day human experience. Now, within those different soul connections, there are a variety of types of relationships, contracts, and agreements, depending on what your soul wants to learn while you're here in this incarnation. I'm sure you guys have heard of karmic partners or karmic relationships. We also have dharmic partners or dharmic relationships. So I'm gonna explain a little bit about how the soul works. So when the soul is born, this is like an oversoul. There's the oversoul. And then that oversoul splits off into 12 soul components in the immediate oversoul, right? And then out of those 12 souls in the initial soul pod, each soul splits off into a masculine and feminine polarity component. So your core soul, what people describe as twin flames, you have 23 of them that exist at any time. Now, I want to mention that because there are so many opportunities for beautiful, deep soul connection while we are in this human experience. So when people say there's only one soul, there's one twin flame, it's not true. There are 24 twin flames. And we go another level, out of those 24, now start coming the soulmates. So those 24 get split off into a whole nother tribe. So you have the initial 12 in the oversoul, then there's another 12. So now you have 144 soulmates immediately related to the original oversoul. Then there's another 12. So you multiply the 144 by the next 12 and you have another set of soulmates. And these are all really deep soul connections. So if you start looking at the hundreds of probabilities and the statistics around you receiving love in this incarnation with a deep spiritual bond, a deep soul bond, your odds are very good. Because even from what I just described, let's say you're not asking for a twin flame, which is the original 24, you've got lots of really great deep soul bonded connections that could be romantic or platonic relationships that will give you pretty much everything that you want and need. Now, I'm gonna add another caveat. Not all soulmates are good. And that one's funny because everyone assumes like soulmate connections are perfect and romantic and divine. Not necessarily. They frequently are. Soulmate connections just mean that there is a deep soul bond. There is a deep family bond. And just like in our human families, how we don't get along with everyone in our families, the same as with soul families, okay? It just means there's a deep bond. It means there's a shared energetic experience of depth. It is a family. It is your soul family. And just like human families, soul families are big. There's extended family, there's immediate family, right? And they come with different levels of intensity. And they're all beautiful. The point is that there's a big experience here for you guys to explore. I have so much to say about twin flame relationships. I've been through several, and soulmates. And I'll give you the TLDR. Most of you that are asking for twin flame relationships actually want deep soulmate relationships. And you want compatible and romantic soulmate relationships. So I will put that track out there for you, but I will tell you that most of you don't actually want twin flame relationships, and I will get into that probably in another video. But as the quick, I'm gonna give you a little teaser, ask for soulmate relationships. They are really what you're looking for. Okay, so when it comes to twin flames, we know that we have a lot of twins. Now, most of us do not incarnate with all of our twins on Earth. It's just not how the soul wants to learn, the oversoul. The oversoul will usually give maybe one other twin. And there are a lot of humans that are not incarnated with another twin because it's not part of this experience for them. When you are incarnated with a twin flame, it is because you are on a really serious personal and spiritual development track. Twin flames are not core fundamental romantic relationships. They are spiritual growth modules, and they are very triggering. We often misinterpret them for romantic relationships because when humans assume depth and growth, they assume romance and sex and relationship. But actually, you can navigate twin flame relationships in friendships, and those are really great too. Or they can be in family bonds or family units. They come through in a variety of different ways, depending on what the Ascension curriculum is and the growth module that you have selected before your incarnation. We can have multiple twin flames. I have 3 twin flames, and I met them all before I was 18. But generally speaking, sometimes the soul will come down in a pod of twins because it's what's necessary for the twins to break out. Like if you've got a lot of trauma in your life, like I had a lot I had to break through as a teen. So I was given the support of 3 additional twin flames to help break me open spiritually so that I could actually show up for this experience. They are spiritual growth modules. That's what twin flames are. Lock that into your consciousness. Twin flames are spiritual growth modules, not amazing romantic relationships. Let's just get it out on the table. Not everyone might agree with me. I don't care. I have a lot of experience in this. I'm speaking from my experience. If it works for you, great. If it doesn't, whatever. But when you guys all talk about how you want these deep, beautiful, romantic relationships and then you ask for twins, I would just say, maybe ask for soulmates instead. It's like the difference on going on the horror ride and like the teacup ride. Like if you want to have fun and make out, like go on the teacup ride, okay? That's your soulmate experience. If you want to have the most robust spiritual awakening and feel like you're gonna pee your pants, then sure, go ahead and ask for a twin flame relationship. I can't even believe I just said that. But dear God, take the teacup ride. The point here is that you're here for the ride because you're at the amusement park called Earth. It's also worth mentioning that really, really deep soulmate connections can also mimic twin flame relationships because the bond is so deep and you're learning so much from each other through mirroring the self back to the self through the other. Now, when we go into soulmate contracts, there are a number of different arrangements when it comes to soulmate relationships. So there are prearranged soul contracts where you've decided before you come into this incarnation what the specific event timeline is going to be, where you bump into each other and then you make your exchange. And what that agreement is gonna be, whether it's gonna be platonic, whether it's gonna be romantic, whether it's gonna be short-lived, whether it's gonna be long-lived, whether it's just a fast exchange of exchanging spiritual notes, whether it's something where you're on a journey together for like several years and the relationship is deeper at the human level. All of those things are pre-planned. We plan with our soulmates, like, okay, we're gonna have this interaction together at this point. This is gonna be a run-in we're gonna have, and we're gonna exchange information. And I kid you not, I met one of my soulmate friends a year ago and we were sitting over coffee and I looked at him and I said, we've done this before. And he's really spiritual too. And he was like, yeah, we have. And we both got the download at the same time. We both got the vision like at the same time, where I was like, oh my gosh, this was like part of the pamphlet or the brochure that they sold this life experience to us before we incarnated into this human experience. They were like, would you like to go on the vacation of Earth? Here, look. And then they showed us some examples. They were like, look at how cute it's gonna be. You're gonna run into each other at this coffee shop and you're gonna exchange all of this cosmic information and it's gonna be so fun. And I think that they forgot to tell me about all the BS I went through before that. But you know, they're like selling the good vacation. And they're like, but you're gonna have such amazing relationships. Isn't that fun? And I was like, sign me up, I'm good. Then there are what I like to call choice contracts, which are, you know that there's gonna be a certain amount of soulmates on the grid at any one time. You're given a certain amount of family. A lot of us are coming down to Earth School together in pods. And the choice contracts are, at some point, you'll probably bump into them during your life, and perhaps it wasn't prearranged, and you get to make a choice when you meet them. Like, what do you want to do with this? Do you want it to be platonic? Do you want it to be romantic? Do you want it to be short-lived or long-lived? What do you want to do with this contract? And those are cool too. Well, there are two types of them. There are contracts and then there are agreements, and they are managed by our higher selves, and there are actual governing bodies in the universe and in the multiverse, like the Karmic board and the Galactic Federation, although the Karmic board is more in charge of karmic relationships, and that manage our contracts, which you can think about it like some soul relationships are contracted, like this will happen, you will do this, I will do this. This is the exact exchange, and it's mapped out like an exchange. Then there are other soul relationships that I would call agreements that are less formal and more just like, hey, I think we're gonna do this and this and this and this, and if it doesn't work out, we'll just walk away. Whereas the contract, you don't just walk away, they have to be completed. They're karmic or dharmic contracts, and they have to reach their completion. Like if you were in business and you promised a 12-month agreement where you were gonna do a certain service over 12 months and you contracted it, the contract is over when the service is complete based on what the rules of the engagement were agreed upon within the contract. Whereas an agreement could be like, okay, we'll like do this kind of arrangement. Maybe we do this service back and forth until we just feel like not doing it anymore. That's an agreement. So it's very similar with soulmate relationships, contracts and agreements. Who knew the Libra is so down for justice, contracts, and agreements in relationship? I was born for this, you guys. Look at my eyes lighting up. I'm so happy. Please ask me about relationships. It's all I want to talk about. Okay, but I'm done being fresh. I'm not done being fresh. I'm done being fresh. Some other fun things is we've got a really big extended soul family. And then there's also the rainbow family, which are related soul family, but you can think about them like cousins. They're like the extended family. And the rainbow family is really fun to connect to as well. Then there are human relationships, which are purely physical relationships. They're based on the physical experience here, where you don't have a further familial soul bond. And those will just feel like very physical relationships. They'll feel like, you know, you run into these people at the same coffee shop or the same spot over and over again, and that's how you develop a relationship. It's built through physical familiarity. And when you change your environment and you change your routines, those people just disappear. Those are human relationships. It's like human to human, not soulmate. They're based more on convenience, on physical convenience. They're not based on the actual active soul connection. Dun, dun, dun. Okay, then we've got karmic contracts, which I know you guys have heard of. Karmic contracts are the law of cause and effect. They are soul contracts that are not necessarily soul mates. It's just an agreement made at the soul level where you are actors playing roles. You have agreed to play those roles until the karma, or your understanding of the cause and effect of those specific acting roles, have been learned by your soul in your human experience, so that you can then release them because you have assimilated and understood the lessons that have come with them. They are based in cause and effect. They need to be worked through. They are curriculum. It's like going through courses in school that you have to learn and understand, but maybe you're not super interested in them. They can feel really magnetic or attractive or addictive even, because you're working through different cycles of your patterns of behavior. They're the relationships that tend to be difficult and not fun, but completely necessary for your own soul growth. Then there are Dharmic contracts, and those are the soul contracts that are the most fluid. They aren't sticky. Like, they are pretty much purely choice-based contract. To be in a Dharmic contract is to be in your Dharma. Dharmic contracts are when you and other souls are on the same soul mission, the same elevation, moving into the same status with the same ascension curriculum, where you are completely on the same page and you choose to do it together. These contracts are gold. And they really take a lot of work for us to get to the point where we can then attract Dharmic contracts, because it means that we've moved through the karma. So then we get to move into the service work, into the Dharma. And those are magic. They are beautiful. They are where my attention is. My attention is on Dharmic contracts. They are the equal balance of divine counterparts in union. You'll hear people talk about this stuff a lot as divine marriage. These are when each party has worked through their karma, has worked through their other soul contracts and agreements, and is coming in as a whole complete person, ready to move forward with their ascension work that is less karmic and more about service, more about the union in the self, the union in the relationship itself as well, and about helping each other progress on a single mission together. Those are Dharmic contracts. I've heard people call them divine unions, the divine marriage. On another level, something that I've channeled a lot on that I've experienced cosmically are Phoenix contracts. And those are divine marriage contracts at the multidimensional level, where the relationship that's held here, and there aren't many of these at all, they're super hyper rare, is a divine marriage Dharmic contract that is also so strong and so committed that the commitment level is not just in this incarnation, but the commitment level is met across all multidimensional realities as well. And the mission that's here now in that divine contract, the divine marriage contract, also applies as the relative same mission across all of the multidimensional contracts. Okay, and I'm briefly going to touch into the idea of the one that we have all heard, that people talk about the one being the one soulmate or the one twin flame. So what I want to jump into is the one is real. and it's also up for negotiation at the same time. So we're given a lot of choice and a lot of option while we are in our human incarnations. Is there one person designed for you? Well, I actually think there are a number of people that are very compatible for us. And I think that we take that compatibility into mind and into account when we incarnate in a pod of souls. Now, what I would say the one is a Dharmic union. It is a divine marriage contract where two souls have worked through their karmic agreements and their karmic contracts and have agreed that this is my ascension path, and oh, you're on the same ascension path as I am, we'll go together. And that's more the idea of the one that I would say. And I think a lot of those contracts are choice contracts that we make. We're not all entitled to that sort of a contract because it requires a certain amount of growth and effort. Although I will say that there are a lot of them coming on grid now, like in the collective, the entire frequency of humanity and Earth needs to raise rather rapidly from my understanding. So there are a lot of Dharmic contracts and divine marriages coming onto the planet. But ultimately, when people talk about the one, that is real in the way that you get to be happy in soulmate union, in soulmate relationship. You can have a deep soul connection. You can meet someone in relationship where you have such a beautiful spiritual exchange, a wonderful mental exchange, a complete emotional exchange with emotional intimacy, and then the physical exchange with physical intimacy. And it can all be rather seamless and have a high level of compatibility. I truly do feel like everyone does have access to that if you want it. And I think the odds are really stacked in our favor. I don't think you can miss love. I think it's here for absolutely everyone on the planet that wants it. And all of my channeling and my cosmic knowledge has just backed that up even more for me. I'm like, if you want love, you can find it, I promise. Okay, so that's my big scoop on all of the different sorts of soul contracts and agreements. And then I'm gonna continue the series. So if you liked this video, remember to tap that like button, hit the bell for notifications, and subscribe so you don't miss any energy updates or any of my future soulmate relationship videos. If you love this video, I think you're gonna love the next video where I'm gonna do a deep dive into twin flame relationships, what they mean, and my personal experience with them so that you can get an inside scoop on what it's like to be in a twin flame relationship, what I went through, what you can expect, what's great about them, what's challenging about them, and whether or not you actually want to be in one. Now, if you guys love my vibe, I'd love to invite you to work with me. I'm going to leave a series of links in the description below. I think you're going to love my I Am Success meditation album. I shot an entire 5.5-hour guided activation album as a shaman. It actually works on your subtle energetic body and helps reprogram you and your subconscious to expect and activate your own personal wealth blueprint, your success blueprint, and deep, beautiful relationship and love. That sounds like your vibe. Go catch the link in the description below and you can go get a hold of that meditation album. I also work one-on-one in personal spiritual mentorship in my Transformation Accelerator program, where I hold your hand through your beautiful 6 to 12 month deep dive spiritual transformation. And I have 2 beautiful online programs. The first is called Break the Mold. It is a spiritual radical authenticity and deep confidence program where I teach you how to break free of all previous limitation and step into your limitless potential of who you are completely, radically, authentically, so that you can step into the next level version of yourself, the one that absolutely has it all. And then I have another program called Akashic Records Immersion, where I teach you how to intuit, understand, and read your very own soul blueprint, your own Akashic records, so that you can begin to work with your own soul contracts, understand who you are. It's like getting a report card from the universe, and you're looking at your ascension curriculum and you can actually change your curriculum. You can do little micro adjustments. You can ask the teachers to change your grades. You can get special treatment. I don't know. All this to say, it really is about personal development, who you are, who you're becoming, and gives you some really vast understanding on your psychic intuitive abilities, on how to navigate your own experience and become the best version of yourself through developing your intuition. Again, I will leave all of those links in the description below, sending you guys so much love. Thank you so much for joining me in this video. Until next time, I will see you later.